Hello, I am Kelly from the Lush Kitchen and I'm here today at the Green Hub, which is part of manufacturing here in Lush. I'm here to see Susie from the Earth Care team and also to talk to Mark from the Green Hub team to find out what goes on here. So I'm going to head inside.
Welcome to the Green Hub.
Amazing, thank you for having me. So Susie, you work for the Earth Care team.
Yes.
Can you just tell us a little bit about what that means and what you do?
The Earth Care team is one of the support teams in Lush, and we look at everything to do with the environment. So that can be anything from reducing the amount of waste that we bring into the business. It can be to do with recycling, it can be to do with energy, water, absolutely anything at all.
Wow,
yeah.
You have a big job spec. And so we are obviously in the Green Hub at the moment,
Yes.
so what is this department?
So the Green Hub is one of the departments that is in Lush Manufacturing. It kind of falls under Earth Care, but they are a separate team.
Okay.
And at the Green Hub, we deal with all of our closed loop recycling and any other recycling that needs to be done in pool.
Okay, so what actually does closed loop mean?
So closed loop recycling is when you take an item and you recycle it back into the same item.
Okay.
So we've actually got a nice little display here that can show you how this works.
Okay.
So we closed loop recycle our black pots. So a customer will bring a black pot back to us in the shop, and that will come back here. We will then granulate it on site. So these little granules are all black pots.
So I guess this goes into a machine, did you say?
It does, yeah. So it goes into a machine called the granulator, and that will...
Nice name.
Yeah. And that will actually shred it up. It will rinse the pots as well. It's really important that they are nice and clean when we send them off.
Okay.
And those will then be sent off to be turned into something that are called nurdles. For anybody who watches things like Blue Planet or Plastic Ocean or anything like that, you've probably seen these before. So these are essentially the raw feedstock that are used by the plastic industry. So our black pots have been granulated up so that they can go through the machine that will turn them into nurdles.
Okay.
And once we've done that, we will send them off and they will become a new black pot. So
Just like
it
that.
really is closed loop. So once this black pot has been reused again, hopefully someone will bring that back to the shop and we can start the whole process again.
So should we go and have a look at what's going on outside?
Let's do it.
I need some high vis, I think, don't
Yes,
I?
you do.
Amazing, thank you
go.
very much. So Susie, this wall looks pretty amazing and I can definitely recognise some of the items that we have here that the plants are growing in. So would you like to tell me a little bit more about where they've come from?
Yeah, so we like to reuse anything that we can. These black planters have got a great story. These were planters themselves. They were bought for the soaps department to be used as soap moulds, and when soaps were finished with them, they came back here and we reused them as planters again.
Oh wow, that's cool. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And this one down here?
So this is one of the blue barrels that some of our raw materials come in. We also use them to mix product and things like that, particularly in the dairy department, and it just makes a perfect planter for these peas.
And you told me before that there are some sunflowers that the guys are growing in here to have a bit of a competition between the people that work here.
Absolutely, yeah, who can grow the tallest sunflower? There's a definite winner.
Adding a bit of fun in there too.
Yes.
So Susie, there's lots of containers that we're walking past at the moment. What is actually in them all?
So we've got a bit of everything in here, anything from packaging that comes into the business, maybe from our raw materials, to obviously our black pots, but also all of our moulds. So
okay.
I can show you these. Customers might be familiar perhaps with these, particularly if they've done a Lush party where you get to make your own bath bomb.
Yeah, I've definitely seen these in the Lush kitchen. So
yeah. Yes, so these are to make our ballistics, and they will come back to us from the department when they finished using them.
Okay.
We don't just use these once, although these are a lovely example where they're really clean.
Yeah.
These are used several times, and when they start to get a bit brittle, that's the point when they'll be brought over to here. We do just make sure that the quality is good. So if they start getting a bit brittle, what we don't want are any little shards of plastic going into the product.
Yeah.
So that's when they'll come over here and they go through the same process as the black pot. So they'll be granulated into little pieces.
Okay.
And then we actually sell that back into the recycling industry.
Okay.
We can't at the moment close loop these, although that is something that I think is on on the agenda for this year.
Oh wow, okay, that's good to know.
And these are all PET moulds. So PET is a really common plastic. You will see PET in your soft drinks bottles, your water bottles, things like that. So it's very commonly recycled and really easy to do so.
Cool, so should we have a look at what else we've got? I can see a sign here that says black pots, so I'm presuming there's black pots in this next container.
It is, yep. So this is where we collect all the iconic black pots.
There's lots of them.
There's loads. Yeah. So last year we got around 500,000 pots back, which is amazing. We'd love to reach 1 million in a year. So please do bring your black pots back, and I'll just grab a few for you.
Thank
Here you
you.
go. So these will go into the building over here, and we will pop them in the granulator.
Okay.
Sometimes they do need cleaning. I think you notice that they're not at their cleanest.
Yeah,
these ones.
I was just about to say that. I mean, I used to work in the pool shop, so I was part of this process as well, and obviously accepting black pots that customers did bring in. So and sometimes they wasn't the cleanest. But how does that cause a problem for you guys here in the Green Hub?
Yeah, so it can do. Each pot, when it goes through the granulator, needs to be as clean as possible, and this is to avoid any contamination in the plastic stream.
Right.
If there's any product that does get caught into the plastics, it can affect the recycling process further down the line. Right. So we really need to be vigilant and make sure they're as clean as possible. This one is looking lovely. So please clean your pots.
Make sure you're bringing them back really clean, guys.
Yeah.
So I guess if you do have to wash them, do you use rainwater?
We do use rainwater, yeah. Would you like to see?
Yes, I would, yeah.
Great, all
Thank
right,
you.
let's put these back. So this is our rainwater harvesting system.
Amazing. So is the rainwater just collected from this building? Or?
Yeah, it's just collected from the roof. You might be able to see the downpipe there.
Yeah.
That feeds into these IBCs, which we've actually upcycled. These.
Of course you have.
Yeah, of course we have. Yeah. No new stuff here. We've got 10 IBCs here, and so we can collect up to 10,000 litres of rainwater at a time. So any way that we can reduce our impact, we do. So for example, washing the black pots with rainwater. That means then that we don't have to use tap water. So we also collect other things like bottle tops.
Amazing. Any bottle tops or just specifically milk ones?
So here I've got some milk bottle tops, but we can take pretty much any bottle tops at all. The only ones we can't take are the really thick ones, so things like on instant coffee jars. Those are just a bit too thick for us to be able to take.
Okay.
But yeah, anything else we can take. So we store them in here, and when we've got enough, we send them off to a company who'll turn them into a board for us, and that board can be used for building things. So we've used it in some shop designs, we've used it to upcycle furniture, and we've even donated some to charities where they can use it as well.
That's brilliant. So can these actually be recycled at home anyway, or?
Sometimes.
Okay.
So the scheme was originally done because bottle top recycling was really inconsistent, and it still is fairly inconsistent. It is getting better, but we still want our customers to have that option that if they can't recycle their bottle tops, that we can take them and do something really useful with them.
That's amazing. Very good to know.
Another material we process is cardboard. So most of this cardboard here is actually incoming packaging. So this could be fruit, for example. You can see pineapples, strawberries, anything like that, tofu. And we do have people in both buying and earth care actually looking at our incoming packaging and working out where we can make improvements. So most stuff does come in recyclable packaging like cardboard, and then anything else that we can improve we do. So actually we don't get a huge amount.
I was going to say there doesn't seem to be as amount there is the black pots that come in, so that's very good. It's obviously reducing the amount that we bring in, so that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good to see. So Susie, we've obviously seen lots of recycling that happens here at the Green Hub. Does anything go into the landfill?
Yes, so we're not perfect, so there are things that go to landfill. We do sometimes get the question, why aren't we certified zero to landfill? And the reason is that we don't believe that burning our waste should ever count towards being kind of sustainable. So we currently recycle around 90% of what we get in, and there's around 10% that unfortunately does have to be landfilled.
So what is included in that 10% that does go to landfill?
Well, there are items that we have to use in production, things such as gloves. Aprons is actually a really interesting example where there was a comment from a customer on Instagram a few months ago.
On our Instagram, Lush Kitchen.
Thank you for pointing that out to us, because we've now switched completely to cotton. So it was something that had been completely overlooked. Earthcare team came in and had a look at some cotton alternatives, and that's something now that doesn't go to landfill.
Which is brilliant. That's really good to know, because obviously you can't think about everything. And
you can't, no. And there's also things like crisp packets from people's lunches. You know, we're not going to police what comes onto site, but those things will eventually have to be landfilled as well.
So that 10% that obviously comes from manufacturing, what are we talking about that does go into landfill? Like product wastage or?
No, so generally product waste we send to an anaerobic digester.
Okay.
So yeah, the organic waste that we produce will go there. We might get food waste that can be composted, and then there's also it's the single-use plastics really. So things like pallet wrap. Like I was saying earlier, if raw ingredients come into us and they have shrink wrap on, those are the items that unfortunately we don't yet have as much control over as we'd like.
Yeah, so there is recyclable bins, obviously landfill bins around all of our sites in manufacturing and in all of our offices.
Absolutely, yeah.
So that's really good to see. And I guess all the rubbish, does it end up here and get sorted?
It does, yeah. So just behind us is where all the rubbish is sorted. As it comes in, we've got a couple of guys who will go through every single bag and check that any recyclables are taken out of the landfill and popped in recycling. There's
loads of comments that normally say, when are we going to open a shop that has refillable stations so they can go in and get their favourite shower gel or their creams from a pump rather than having to buy a plastic pot each time? Like, do we have any solutions for that?
It's something that's being looked at.
Okay.
But I can't really say more than that. But what I can say is that if customers do want to reduce the amount of packaging that they're bringing into their homes, look at some of the solid options we've got. So we've got solid options for shower gel, solid options for body cream, and those are beautiful products. You can bring your own containers in to take those away with you, so you don't need to use a bag or some stickers. Any Lush staff member would be happy to refill your Tupperware or anything with soaps and anything you want.
Any solid products.
Yeah.
That's great. So let's talk about global. Any advice that you can give to customers watching about what they can do at home if they want to start recycling more or reducing the amount of plastics or what they're wasting? Yeah,
so absolute number one is to start reducing the amount of plastics that you bring into your home. There's about 9% of the plastics that have ever been created have actually been recycled, so that leaves well over 90% that are still either in our oceans or on land. So if you can reuse something, that's fantastic. My manager Giles actually has a really good motto where he says, well, you know, if you don't think that you can use the same water bottle all year, if you could refill it just once each time, you've halved your amount of plastic.
That's true, yeah, that's great to know.
So little steps are great, but yeah, if you can reuse, do reuse. Second, always make sure you recycle.
That's brilliant. Yeah. So is there anything else that I need to see here at the Green Hub?
I think I need to take you to meet Mark.
Okay, let's go.
Great, all right.
So I'm here with Mark. Hello.
Hello.
You're part of the Green Hub team, is that correct?
I certainly am, yeah.
How many people work here then?
We've got currently 18
okay.
members of staff that work here full time.
It's quite a big department then to have 18 people here.
It is, it's huge, but then we're a big company and we do have lots of stuff to recycle, so it's, yeah, needed.
So what interested you in coming to the Green Hub team?
I was always a green team member within departments. I was responsible for trying to get people to recycle properly then. So when we opened the Green Hub for about 4.5 years ago, it was where I wanted to be. Yeah.
Amazing. So what actually, I mean, we've seen what goes on here in the Green Hub, but what is a day in the life of what you do?
Well, it varies. You've got the general recycling side of things, which is dealing with the plastics, the moulds, the cardboards and everything else that comes from production and from retail.
Yeah.
We've also now over here got the product donations department. And we also now, quite new to the place, about 2-3 months old, is the upcycling of furniture.
Right. So let's talk about the product donations. What happens there?
The product donations were set up to deal with our excess stock from production. As a company, as Lush, as you know, we don't like to waste anything. So we set a department up to donate everything we possibly could to people in need. They go to grassroots charities, so for example, if you're paying a director £150,000 a year, you don't need our stuff.
Definitely don't need
Definitely
it.
don't need it. And it's anything from children's hospices to the homeless, to refugee camps all over the world. Basically anyone who is really out and down on their luck and needs a bit of an uplift.
And this is all year round, isn't it?
All year round, yes.
Yeah, it's not just Christmas and...
No, all year round. 700 different charity donations last year alone.
Amazing. So in terms of other donations, what other things do we donate to these types of charities?
Well, we started off with the product, and then one of the charities asked us if we had any shoes.
Okay.
And of course, every year we get a certain amount of temporary staff leave and their shoes get left behind. So we started pairing them, cleaning them and supplying shoes. So one of the local charities we deal with actually supplies not only our wash products to the homeless, but also things to put the wash products in if we've got old tins or containers. Then we began supplying the shoes, and then they said, have you got any clothing? So very kindly, lots of staff began bringing in clothing donations. And one of the charities locally now is supplying enough shoes and clothing to people that they're actually managing to find full-time work.
Wow.
So we've got 14 homeless people in the last 2 months that are able to go and work on building sites because they've got our shoes, which
Wow,
is
that's
really,
incredible.
really cool. What other people would see as waste, we've made into something not just worthwhile, but spectacularly worthwhile, which is really cool.
So I guess everybody can do this at home, can't they? With things that they don't need, instead of chucking it away or taking it to the tip, actually
Everything.
maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Everything can have a new life. As you've seen around the building, we've got flower pots made out of old moulds. We've got, we've got a kayak around the front that we found during a clean on a building site that we've made into a flower planter.
Yeah.
So yeah, as long as you've got sort of a little bit of creativity, you can make something new out of near enough everything.
So is it a kind of a free-for-all for everybody that's working here and just say, oh, I've seen this, I want to make this, it's really cool, and that's allowed, or how does it work?
We've had to run it alongside the work we're already doing.
Okay.
As is with everything, you have to prove first that it can be done and it should be done before somebody will say, here's a building, here's some money.
Yeah.
And that's what we've been doing. So in between our old jobs, where we used to go away and sit down and watch things on our phone, we now actually think about things while we're going along, and then when we get the time, we're jumping on it and spending as much time as possible upcycling things.
So there's a lot to think about, isn't there?
Yeah, there is a bit.
So what's next for the Green Hub?
Well, who knows? It seems to change almost daily. The hope is that the upcycling and the product donations guys will be able to move on to their own building. The recycling hub, as it is, needs its space back really to
I was going to say,
continue.
it doesn't seem big enough for everything that you've got going on.
It's quite cuddly. We're all friends. But realistically, the upcycling and the product donations needs to move on now to a space it can flourish in better.
Fantastic. Right, well thank you very, very much for talking to me and telling me loads more information that I didn't know about the Green Hub.
You're welcome, thank you.
Thank you. Wow, I have learned so much today here at the Green Hub, and by talking to Susie and Mark. Learned lots about reducing, reusing and recycling, so there's definitely things that I can learn and take away for at home in my own life, and you guys can too. It's as simple as changing one small thing maybe every month, and over the course of a year, 12 things can make a huge impact on the environment. So have a think about what we're doing, guys. Everyone can make a difference.